Good afternoon, and if I may ask you to please take your seats. As mentioned by the Master of Ceremonies, if you want to come forward, you can do so at an empty table. It is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce John F. Nicholls, Management Science Master, Chartered Life Underwriter, and MDRT's second Vice President. John is a 22-year MDRT member with 2 Court of the Table and 15 Top of the Table qualifications. He's also an Excalibur Knight and Legion of Honor member of the MDRT Foundation and served as its president. He has been active in numerous committees, including as Global Council member of the Membership Division and chair of the Bylaws and Ethics Committee. A frequent speaker at MDRT national events, John is also a past president of NAIFA and the author of 2 books. In 2012, Nicholls received the James E. Smith Camp Award from the Illinois Spinal Cord Injury Association for outstanding service and fundraising, and received the Richard M. Daley and Maggie Daley Golden Shoe Award for being the #1 Bank of America Chicago Marathon fundraiser for nonprofits. Ladies and gentlemen, during our first focus session this afternoon, let's give a loud Trinidad and Tobago round of applause to John F. Nicholls.
Woo. Let's have some fun. F-U-N. First and foremost, thank you. What I'd like to do is see if there are any questions from you first. And then I have a little body of content that I will present. But let's see what's on your mind first. And so is there anyone willing to raise your hand and say, I have a question? Anyone? There, yes, sir. Yes. Oh, yeah. Malcolm. Okay. So the question is, yeah. So the question is, how did I go from MDRT to core of the table to top of the table? What was that process like? And so since you asked the question, Malcolm, come on up. I want to you can help me. I want to start from the beginning. So 1999, October of 99, I go home to my wife and I tell her I'm opening up a business. She says, well, honey, what business? Well, the insurance business. Instead of being in the general agency, I'm going to open up my own shop. It's going to be called Disability Resource Group. And she said, well, geez, how much money do we have in the bank? And so this, Malcolm, is what?
Personal financial statement.
Yeah, my personal financial statement. And what year is it?
1999.
1999. So here it is, coffee stain and all. And she said, well, geez, how much money do we have in the bank? So that's my business checking account. How much money, US dollars now? So
10,000.
$10,000. Wow. And she said, that's interesting. And I said, yeah, well, it's not really 10,000 because I hired my first employee and I'm paying that person 5,000 the first month. You can imagine the excitement in the room. And so then she flipped the page. My honey was pretty smart. And she saw this column.
Life insurance.
It's the life insurance column, and she sees that I have a couple of policies in the total amount of, can you do the math?
Yeah, $360,000.
$360,000 of life insurance benefit. Now remember, I'm age 32, no kids, but only 3. Oh man, the punchline already comes. How much cash value did I have in my
13,500.
13,500. My wife said, I'm better off with you dead than alive. Thank you very much. So that's the humble beginning of the business. And so how did I go from nothing to MDRT? I had a plan of distribution, and the way I distributed, as I mentioned earlier, is I partnered with advisors or center of influences. So if I'm sitting in your chair, what's a center of influence? Accounting firm, legal firm, maybe an architectural firm, anyone that's working in my market, anyone that was working with small or medium-sized businesses. And what I wanted to do is be the referral source for insurance. Why wouldn't I want to be? And so that's the game I started to play. The second step was hiring other salespeople that didn't really want to be salespeople. They wanted to be salaried, but they wanted to be sales. Oh, okay, you be inside sales and I'll just be outside sales. And so I became the rainmaker. And so I would go make it rain and I would delegate to my team. And they wanted to be on salary and I wanted to be on all commission. Why did I want to be on all commission? Because I always knew I was always going to outperform because I was never going to be comfortable. I think that's a key component for my mindset was I have never, ever, ever, ever been comfortable. Even today, I am not comfortable. And so just flip it around to the positive. I am always hungry. Not hungry for food. I'm hungry for connection. I'm hungry for relationship. I'm hungry for the chase of the business. I'm hungry for the competitiveness of what we're doing. We're building an agency, and I'm the rainmaker. I loved it. And so that was step 2. And then step 3 was, can I find other organizations that didn't do what I did, but they wanted to have my expertise? And so there are other insurance firms that use my firm for my area of expertise. And so I became really well known for disability insurance. And that's what I was known for. And the proof in the pudding was this. I went on, you have TAIFA, right? You have TAIFA. Well, in the United States, they have an organization called NAIFA. And I went through the chairs of NAIFA. I was very lucky, very humble, very grateful for that opportunity. In 2013, I became the president of a 60,000 member organization called NAIFA. You know, so imagine my head twice the size, right? And I thought I was a leadership guy. I thought I was the next John Maxwell guy. That's what I thought. Well, the industry kind of spit me back and said, no, you're a disability guy. That's what you're known for. And so if you choose to become a specialist in something, you know, nothing wrong, just know you're going to become known for that. And I'll give you one last story on that topic. I got a call recently from my older brother. And here's the call. My older brother is a patent attorney in Chicago, Illinois. He calls me up and he says, hey, John, you're really connected. I mean, you got a Rolodex like unbelievable. I was wondering if you could introduce me to someone that sells life insurance. I'm not making this up. I'm like, well, this is interesting. I said, geez, you have a choice. I can introduce you to somebody that sells life insurance. Or you can work with your family member and keep it in the family, and maybe there might be a revenue share, maybe. He decided to do business with me. So remember, if they don't know what you do, they'll never buy from you. So if I'm in your chair, I'd want to make sure people know exactly what you do. Because if they don't, well, where are they going to go? And so, where's my phone? I want to just share one more thing and then we'll take another question. And what I want to share, this is just really accountability. There it is. And so, of course, I track all my business. I know exactly what we got going on. And of course, Carly sends it to me. And if it would allow me to, I had it all set up. Oh, there it is. Oh. There we go. 1 second. There it is, the year to date. So I share the information out of humbleness, okay? But I want to just give you an idea of how we play the game. So year to date, our paid cases is 901. We have 901 cases that we've placed for almost $2 million in premium. What we have in underwriting, though, is another 171 cases for another 1.4 million. So we're on pace. We're probably going to get to 5 million total for the year, and I'm working part-time. I mean, that's kind of fun, isn't it? Any other questions before I kind of go into some other content that might be of value to you? Questions? Come on, one question. Nothing. It would help me understand what direction to go. That's why I'm asking.
At what point in time did you transition when you was recovering from your illness and getting back on the bandwagon towards a success? At what point in time did that transition?
So the accident happened in 1993. I had 6 years of recovery. I started the business October of 99. So those are the 6 years. And I literally qualified for MDRT in 93 and 94 because my pipeline was so full. And then I didn't have any qualifications for MDRT until the year 2000. And, so I lost, unfortunately, 6 years of my life, but it was a very important 6 years of my life to put my body back together, put my mind back together, and then apply it. And so let me leave you with, or let me share with you the 3 A's. I was talking about this earlier with a table. The 3 A's, and Mila touched on it briefly, but the 3 A's is, you have to become aware. Are you aware what's coming into your mind? Are you aware of your behavior? Are you aware that you say, Are you aware that you are defensive, which I was? Are you aware that you are self-deprecating? Are you aware that you have excuses? I was at a table earlier today, and she knew exactly that she had excuses. And so she's aware. And then the next A is assess. So you make an assessment of what's going on in your life with those excuses. Why are those excuses coming up? Why do you make an excuse when you said you made a promise to yourself that you were going to walk 30 minutes a day and you're saying, oh, it's raining out, so I'm not going to do it. You're just opting out. And then the last is action. And are you taking action? What's the action plan? Now here's the advanced course, and it's very simple. I touched on it on main stage. The advanced course is this. We tend to operate from our mind, but let me ask you a question. Does your mind ever stop until you go to sleep? Yes or no? No, the mind never stops. The mind is full of the excuses. Your mind is full of all the likes and dislikes. Your mind, if you don't stop your mind, you would have 16 desserts. Honest to God, you would. And it's not even that you would like the dessert. You would just keep doing it because that's what I do. I do dessert. It's when you implement your intellect to take control of the mind, then the body follows. Can the body operate on its own? No, the body can't operate on its own. It's here. It's just a piece of equipment. So what controls the body? Well, it's either going to be the mind or the intellect. The mind's going to tell the body, do this or not do this. You have control over your mind and your intellect. You're just choosing at times, just like me, when I fail, I'm operating from my mind. I let the mind win. I want you to graduate to the intellect. Let the intellect win, because that's where the reason and logic and success, that's where it's all going to come from, is your intellect. You look at any successful person out there, are they operating from their intellect or are they operating from their mind? Even in this room, you could look at some very successful people in this room and they're operating from their intellect, logic, reason, facts. I do what unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. They get up at 5 a.m., they get their workout in, they're lifelong learners. These are just simple behaviors, maybe not so simple, but these are just behaviors that people implement to accomplish their goals. Okay, the next body of content is called Daily Victories. How many people want to learn how I run my day? Okay, fair amount of you. So my day starts between 5 and 6. I generally never set an alarm. My body just gets up, just like it did today, 5 a.m. I was up. I jumped out of bed because my class, I'm in a class right now. It's a 3-year program. It's on, I told Larry, I told you about it. It's called the Vedanta Philosophy of Life. It's an hour-long class, hour, 12 minutes. Today was an hour, and so that's 5 to 6. I get my little workout in. I couldn't get my full workout in today, but I got my push-ups in. I got my plank in, as you saw. I did a little core exercises. I got a shower, went down, had quick breakfast. I was already suited up, came up here. I was ready for work. At home, that same process would then turn, my workout's typically an hour to 90 minutes in the morning, but I'm at my desk no later than 8:30, making my 10 phone calls before 9 a.m. And that's what I call, think about this, that's what I call a right fit morning. So think about your morning and just map it out. Take the time to write it out. What is a right fit morning for you? If you just think about it, you're not going to do it. If you write it out, you'll start to understand, these are the behaviors I want to do in the morning, and these are the behaviors that are going to set me on a path that's very positive and productive and purposeful. So I'm a big believer in threes, the 3 Ps: positive, productive, purposeful. There's a reason why I'm still in class. I'm a lifelong learner. I want to learn more. There's a reason why I exercise. I exercise because, as with a spinal cord injury, it keeps my body in a place where I can operate at a very high level, and I always feel better. I feel good about myself. I'm more confident. I enjoy it. And then purposeful. Well, then, hey, I'm on purpose. I'm positioned myself to be on purpose for the day. Position yourself to be on purpose for the day. And hurry up, because I don't know how many more days we have, right? Hurry up. So that's kind of a construct of my morning. And then look at, I have appointments, I've got other responsibility, I got MDRT, et cetera, but I jam my morning is the most productive time of my life. So anything from 6 in the morning, maybe 5 in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning till about noon. So since we're in the afternoon, I guess this is where I take a break. Questions?
Right now you're on a break.
Right now I'm on a break. You finally got it. It's a little slower in the front. Bad humor, just really bad humor. Questions? There we are. Yeah, so sleep. So think of it this way. When I got out of the hospital, I went home, I was sleeping 18 hours a day. So I was only living 6 hours a day. And so so people are like, well, wow, it took 6 years of recovery. Why was that? Well, because the body was going through this incredible recovery of this catastrophic near-death experience. And it was like a milkshake. All those bubbles in the milkshake, they were trying to find their home in my body, and it just takes a long time. So 18 hours and 17 hours, and it worked its way down. For a long period of time, I was sleeping 12-hour days because I was working out is pretty hard, but I was also working, and so it was 12-hour days. I am now back to a more normal schedule, but I'm an A+ player at 8 hours. I'm an A+ player at 8 hours. If I can get 8 hours, I'm a winner. If I can operate on less than that, and I do during MDRT conference as an example, I'm working on less than 8 hours. I can only do that for so long, and then I crash. And so one of the things that when I talked about awareness, I am so aware of how my body operates. I know when I'm going to crash. I know when I need to sleep. Mila said something very important, I think, in her presentation. I think Mila said, you're going to have to surround yourself with people that are going to make you better, right? And you may lose friends, or you may graduate from your friends. Well, when I got out of the hospital, I was 32 years old, right? 32, 33, right in there. That was still kind of the party stage. And my friends were partiers, and I couldn't be a partier with a spinal cord injury. That just wasn't my game. I couldn't stay up late at night because I was sleeping 18-hour days. 6 hours, so the game changed for me. I lost a fair amount of friends because I couldn't play in the way they wanted to play. And I have a very strong core group that stood by me, and that's just how it is. And so be it. Life goes on. Life goes on.
Earlier you spoke about being a disability insurance specialist.
Yes.
That's a
So he's asking, do I recommend specializing in something within your agency? So mine was a product specialty, right? Disability insurance. Yours doesn't have to necessarily be a product specialist, but I would want you to be known for something. I think when people can put a tag on you, they start to remember, Joe does this, or Jose does that, or John does that. Otherwise, what happens is it's just like my brother. He didn't know what the heck I did. Oh, I didn't know you sold life insurance. Well, what are you talking about? I've only been doing it for 40 years. So do I recommend specializing? There are a few people in here that are specialists in disability. I met them earlier. If you're not going to be a specialist, it's okay to partner with them to work with your clients. I'm a big believer in joint work, as you know. My largest case was $12 million, and it was because somebody brought me in, and he had the relationship. I had the expertise. I take care of everything, billing, applications, servicing. All he did was the introduction. So you might be going, holy mackerel, you paid him 50% just for the introduction? Well, I don't know. If the commission was 50%, what's 50% of 12 million? 6 million. Half of 6 million is what? 3 million. Do I really need to be a pig? I guess maybe I do. But my point is, it wasn't about the money, because if it becomes about the money, then that's where the arguments begin and end. And just come to an agreement. It's a 50-50 split. Life goes on. Let's do the work. Let's grab the case. And it's a once in a lifetime case, $12 million. Holy mackerel. I mean, I made top of the table last year in 3 weeks. I mean, so don't make it about the money, make it about the process. And I think that's what Mila was also talking about, was enjoying the process. I didn't enjoy the rehabilitation process because mentally I was so screwed up, I could never get to a place of self-acceptance. And I think even if I didn't have the accident, I probably had that same underlying issue of self-acceptance because I was in the insurance business. My entire family said, "You're going in the insurance business? Oh my God, don't ever call me." And that's probably why my brother blocked it out. After 40 years in the business, my brother still didn't think I was in the insurance business. I think he thought I was in the phone book business because my Rolodex was so big. Saeed, what's on your mind? Oh, there we are. I get my strength from where? Where do I get my strength? I am totally energized by having an ideal, something that is bigger than me. I'm totally energized by people. I went around after lunch, because I just wanted to visit with the tables, and man, that was energizing. I met Malcolm. Malcolm outdressed me today. Did you see his suit? Holy mackerel. And so I totally get energized by that. I think all of us at the end of the day want to make a difference. The end of the day, when we're lying in bed and our days or hours are numbered, we just want to know, did we make a difference? True story. My father passed away 20 years ago. We had 10 kids at the time. There was 8 living. He met with each one of us for approximately 15 minutes. My dad was very regulated, so maybe I got some of that from my dad. He met with every kid. It was my turn. I'm third in line. I get 15 minutes with my dad. He gave me 2 pieces of comments. The first one was, "Hey, I'm asking you to be the son who watches over my wife, your mother." Okay, who's going to say no to that? "Dad, I got your back. I'll make sure I keep an eye." So my mom lives about a mile away from me, just far enough where she can't come over every day. And isn't it funny, now I'm doing her laundry where she was originally doing my laundry. She's 89, she's got a little health issues, and so, I'm cooking her meals where she used to cook my meals. And so I'm praying to my dad, wondering, "Dad, is this what you wanted? Seriously?" It's a role reversal. It's hilarious. But number 2 was pretty important. My parents instilled in us this mindset of service to humanity. And my father just said, "Please, please, please continue to go out and make a positive difference." And I really think everyone in this room is in that same vein. So where do I get it from? I mean, I know you may be thinking, "Geez, is there a higher power?" Yeah, maybe there is, right? And maybe I have a belief in God, however you may define God. So, certainly my faith is part of that. I wrote the eulogy for my dad, just a final note on my dad. And I wrote a eulogy that used the terminology faith in action. See, we may all have faith, but if you do not put it into action, it doesn't come alive. So let's live our lives with those set of values that we talked about earlier, but live it with that faith that you put into action in service to humanity, in service to your community, in service to your family, in service to your profession. That is a powerful ideal. MDRT created a structure for me, a bowling lane, if you will, to operate in my life. MDRT became a lifestyle. So if you're looking for a lifestyle, maybe MDRT could be part of the answer.
You gotta show me more often.
And did you see? Oh, there he is. I thought you left the room.
Check, check.
My question is, you are a 15-year lifetime member. I want to know, you make calls between 8:30 to 9, 10 calls. How many appointments you get? What your hours, what your working hours are? Do you work on the weekends? How many people do you see a day? I know is one question I'm supposed to, but I want to know your secret.
You want to know my secret?
Yes, I
Well,
do.
humbly speaking, so yeah, so I'm a, what am I, 22-year member, 16 top of the table. What's my secret?
What's your day like? How many people do you see a day? When you make your calls, how many people do you see? Do you work on weekends? How many
Yes.
hours?
So you're not going to like the answer because I only work like an hour a day. I mean, look at my boss isn't going to like to hear that answer, but I'm at a place in my life where I only need to work an hour a day. I just have some very large clients that the thing about law firms, are law firms hiring new associates every year? Do law firms promote partners every year? So one way to think about your business is, am I working with businesses or organizations that are always bringing in new people? So I automatically know I have 40 sales with this particular law firm because that's the average number of partners they promote every year. And so that's kind of one way to build renewal. So let me just back up. In the early days, I was running 20 appointments a week. I'd work nights, I'd work weekends. I wouldn't care. I'm here to work to build the business. When you own the business, and every one of you is a business owner, whether you think you are or not, you run your family, whether you're single, married, or whatever you are running. I'm John F. Nicholls Incorporated. I have a P&L statement for John F. Nicholls. If you start thinking like a business owner, you start behaving like a business owner. And so I've always had that attitude. And so as the business owner, I'm the one that's setting the tone for my behavior with the rest of my team. So I always had high activity. And 20 appointments, yeah, I could do 20 appointments because I would work in a law firm. I wouldn't have to travel anywhere. The law firm would give me the desk, the office, and people would just come in. And I'm the king. I am the king of 20-minute meetings. The king. I invented 20-minute meetings. And when e-signature came around, now it's like 13 minutes. I mean, just as Mila or somebody said, Mila did, you're buying whether you like it or not. and it's just that attitude and I'm all about effectiveness. People don't want to spend an hour with you. They really don't. They just want to get down to business, get it done, and move on with life. We can socialize at a later point. And I tell them that right up front. I says, look, I'd love to visit with you, love to have socialized with you. Let's set up a time to go do that with you and your wife. But let's just get it down to business, see if we can knock this out so you can get back to your day. And they go, yeah, let's do that. So that's how I play that game.
And I'm the king of the 35 minutes, so we are over time. So thank you very much. Let's give John a round of applause. I don't know if you have any closing comments for this session. I'll give you closing comments.
Remember, I said you are possible. You are possible.
Let's give John a round of applause. Thank you very much, John. And his second session will also be in here, so we're giving the other people the opportunity to come into the room. So we're giving this focus session, and the other focus sessions are on the screen. I think they will put it up first.
I first qualified,
89.
and the first time I went was in 2000.
To resume. Yeah. I'll mention that. And just a house announcement, after the second focus session that you'll be going to now, remember all of us will come back in to the main platform area for the rest of the main platform sessions. We have a couple of speakers still